Did you know that the 4 fiends that reoccur in Final Fantasy are from Dante's Inferno?
I did not.
Well, let me tell you.
Did you know? Did you know? Did you know, my friend? All this cool shit. Sick origins of Final Fantasy. And other stuff you might not have known. But maybe you know, but that's okay. We're still gonna do a segment called Did You Know?
Okay, so tell me exactly how these 4 fiends are related to Dante's Inferno. What is Dante's Inferno?
All right, so Dante's Inferno is a book. Obviously, it's a very old book written in Latin, which makes it a pain in the ass to pronounce.
Pronounce, like, the things in it?
The names, everything.
Like
so anyway,
yeah,
like
Scarmillion.
And then Cocknuzzle.
Cocknuzzle, yeah. Cocknuzzle?
Yeah. All right, so in this book, Dante visits the 9 circles of hell with Virgil, right?
Okay, yeah.
And the 9 circles are Limbo, which is basically where the people that, I don't know, they don't really accept Christ in the book go, that aren't necessarily sinners, but never really jumped on the bandwagon with everybody else, kind of a deal. The second one is Lust.
Lust, of course.
Obvious.
That makes sense.
You know, the whores, I guess. Third one is Gluttony, the fatties. That's where they all go.
That's where I'm going to go, I'm pretty sure. Third circle of hell.
The fourth, Greed. Possibly my circle, but I think the fifth of Anger is probably more.
Your circle.
That's kind of bullshit that Anger is below Greed, or is like worse than Greed in this list. Because
well, yeah, I'd say Anger is worse than Greed.
Really? Because greed is something you actually go out and intend to do. You don't necessarily mean to be angry.
Yeah, you do mean to be angry. It's a choice.
It's a chemical imbalance at times. Greed
I really don't like angry people.
I don't think greed.
Really don't like angry people.
I don't think greed is a chemical imbalance within your brain. Anger can be.
You know, like when you work with someone who's just like pissed off all the time, and just how much they like bring you down. I'm not saying they deserve to be in hell, but that's just Dante's thing, I guess. But personally, it's like one of the worst things. I'd never want to be around that person who's angry at everything all the time.
So you would put it below, or above, I guess.
I would put it above greed. Yeah, I'd put it above someone who like cheats their way through like getting money, shit like that.
All right.
Or
Maybe
doesn't want to give their money away. Like someone who gets super angry and just pissed off all that. I don't understand it. Personally, I have a shitty job, so like what I try to do is the whole day I just try to keep a really positive attitude and think of other things and just have the work be like, you know, just me going through the motions while my mind is on other things like this podcast or the website and stuff like that. I'm thinking of other things or movies and all that other shit. But when someone is like at work and they're just pissed off because of work, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, really, this job shouldn't mean that much to you because it's like a wage and hour job. It's a shitty job. It's like, why are you so angry all the time? Like, honestly. Like, and I don't understand when people like people choose to be angry, because I could be angry, but I'm not. I choose not to be angry at my job. You have an anger problem, so you're going, well, I kind of understand this, but honestly, it's a choice. It's not an automatic reaction.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It's not an automatic reaction because you choose to have that automatic reaction. You could break free from it, and you don't.
Yeah, it depends.
Whatever. Okay.
There's a lot of medical facts behind the anti-argument.
I'm sure there's some like chemical imbalance.
But yeah, you're right. There's stuff that I don't need to say that's rude or proves that I'm angry. You got a point. So
I'm a lot more rude than you sometimes, though.
That's true.
But that's
not angry.
I never do it out of anger. I just believe in being
direct.
Yeah, being direct.
All right. So after worse than anger, according to Dante, is heresy.
Heresy, okay.
Which I could kind of see.
All right.
Violence, obviously.
I would think violence and anger would go together. No, not always, though.
You can just be violent.
You could just be an angry person.
Or you could just be really fucked up and like to destroy stuff.
I guess violence is like where anger goes, though.
Yeah, maybe you're sadistic. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Violence.
You're getting pleasure out of it, so it's not anger.
I don't know that much about this book. I know I should probably read it, but
yeah. So number 8 is fraud.
Okay.
And number 9 is treachery, which kind of goes along with fraud. It's kind of weird how 9
treachery
is like the worst. Yeah. Like.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of encompasses all of these in a way, except for gluttony. You're not like, you're not like plotting all day.
I'm like,
But do you plot on it all day? Is it like a treacherous plot to go to Beto's and get a
yes.
burrito? I don't think it's. I don't know. Okay, fine. Maybe that's why it's the number one. So anyway, the 8th one is made up of Bolgans, which are separate areas within
the 8th circle.
Yeah, within the 8th circle of hell. And these areas, they kind of like funnel different people into these areas. Obviously, it's like an extra concentrated version of hell.
Okay.
Where everyone's really organized. So the first Bolgan is set aside for Panderers and Seducers.
Okay.
The second one is for Flatterers, which is like a, I don't know, lame seducer. a kiss ass, I guess. Yeah, that works. The third is Simoniacs.
Okay. What's a Simoniac? Do you know?
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, I think a Simoniac is someone who, like, is really greedy with the church stuff.
Oh, is it someone who...
It's like someone who's, like, messes with, like, religious stuff. I don't remember. So you guys can look that up.
I think it might be... What you're trying to say is, like, how they kind of use... They might use certain...
Use the church for power.
Yeah, use the church
like
for
that.
money.
I think that's what it is.
Kind of like the taxing of the sins that the Catholics used to do.
Yeah, sure. I'm trying not to make this thing a religious podcast.
No,
sure.
that's what it's about. That's what this thing is.
Okay, all right.
It's people that are.
I just don't want to like.
It's kind of an abuser of power.
I've already said enough things about Mormons on this podcast. I don't want to bring Catholics and just make our audience even smaller.
All right. So anyway,
we love you all. Don't judge.
Speaking of Mormons, sorcerers, astrologers, and false prophets. I wasn't meaning the last one. That's rude. The 5th, which is the most important one, corrupt politicians. Yeah,
okay.
Little bastards. The 6th, hypocrites. Everybody hates a hypocrite, right?
Okay, yeah.
7 is thieves. 8 is fraudulent advisors.
Okay.
9, the sowers of discord, which sounds intense. And the 10th is the falsifiers. All I could think of when I found the fraudulent advisors one was the part in Lord of the Rings where the guy's like, I told you to take the wizard's staff. You know?
Well, that's exactly who that is. He's a fraudulent advisor.
Yeah.
He uses his terrible advising to give him power.
Yeah. We could do a whole episode on that.
So, what's his name? Wormtongue?
Yeah, Wormtongue.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so what do the 4 fiends have to do with that?
The 4 fiends are in the 5th area.
They're in the, what was
the 5th Bolgia, which is the one where
the politicians. Yeah, the most important. Okay, I got where you're going.
They keep all those corrupt politicians up in that area.
Okay.
And so they basically throw them into a lake of boiling tar, which is meant to represent sticky fingers, which is really fucked up. The Malebranche.
Malebranche, you're saying that like you're not sure how it's supposed to be said.
Yeah, this Latin it's bullshit.
Okay.
It'd be sweet to learn, but
the Malebranche, is that like the area? Is that what it's called, or
that's the people the demons that guard them?
The demons that guard, is that what they are? The 4 fiends?
Yeah, they're amongst these demons.
They're amongst them.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like 13 of them.
Okay.
And their leader is Malacoda.
Malacoda.
Right, and then there's another that's Alichino, who's, I don't know, his name's derived from a harlequin.
Okay.
It's kind of weird. He's like the leader of the whores. I don't know. And then Barbariccia.
Okay, that sounds like is that a Final Fantasy one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's one that's based off of him.
And what's his name called? Like, what's that?
It means curly beard, which is weird because
curly beard.
Yeah, okay. He's the female one in Final Fantasy.
Is he the female one?
Yeah, it's the one with like the 2 swords, kind of scantily clad. It's a weird translation.
I'm not sure about that. Maybe you're right though.
And then there's old Cagnazzo, which means nasty dog.
No,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it just means cocknuzzle.
You think so?
Yeah, it's when you have a pet rooster and you like
you nuzzle it.
You nuzzle it, you know.
I don't know if I've
or
ever done
it's
that.
like when you take your dick and just like kind of just like, you know, just nuzzle someone with it. Just it's a cock nuzzle.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that.
Okay.
All right, so then there's Calcabrina, which is very familiar because this is what the name of that weird doll was in 4.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. Well, it was I think it was Calcabrina, but the name is based off of that.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. And it means, the name might mean Grace Stomper, which would make sense for a giant, retarded-esque, like, mechanical doll. I don't even know what was controlling it. It was,
I don't know, it's been a little while.
Evil dude. But it was a weird scene. Anyway, there's another one called Serato, which means wild hog.
Okay.
Crappy movie. And then,
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's Dragonazzo, which means big nasty dragon. Man, that guy's probably
He's hung it well hung.
sick. Yeah. It's just wrong. And then Farfarello, which is
Fart farewello.
yeah, which kind of means goblin. Maybe
I'm so
something
mature,
like that.
guys. This podcast is just about my maturity.
Then Graphicane, Dog Scratcher. I wonder if him and Cagnazzo go at it all the time. They're fighting each other.
Okay.
Libaco. I have no idea what that means. And then Rubicon Tay. And this one is another one from Final Fantasy IV. If you remember, he's the guy with the robe. The Fire Fiend.
Yeah.
And his character actually makes the most sense being based off of this guy, because this guy's supposed to be, his name means red-faced, or the red-faced terror, which I'm sure is, it's meant to represent anger in the Inferno,
sure, yeah.
which obviously translates to fire.
Even though he's one of the guards, he's not in hell.
Yeah, he's not in hell. I mean, he's got I wonder how they do that. Like, you have to be the elite evil to be the guards in hell. I don't know. And then there's old Scarmiglian.
Scarmilone.
Yeah, I could never pronounce this guy's name when I was playing the game. And he's just kind of a lame one. He's just a dick. It's Troublemaker is what his name translates to.
All right.
So he's probably like the dude that goes to the prank shop all the time.
So I'm surprised did you say there was 13 of them?
Yeah, there's 13.
Okay, there was 13, really? Okay. Well, what I'm interested in, why did they choose those 4, you think? To be like elemental. You know what I mean? Because from what you've said and what I see on your notes, they aren't elemental in the thing. They just guard the politicians from getting out of the pit, right? The tar pit, or
right?
Whatever. So I'm wondering why do you think Square decided to name their 4 elemental fiends those names, or whether or not they named those things and then made them elemental? I'm wondering.
Well, I don't know. Considering the fact that only a couple of them actually have anything to do with elements. I mean, if you think about it, the cocknuzzle, for example, it means it's something to do with a dog, right? Some like ugly dog is what it's translates to. That one kind of makes sense because a dog's nose is always wet. So I mean, sorta, you could kind of affiliate him with the water element. It's like a really loose.
Yeah, I guess. Kinda,
really,
yeah.
It's a stretch.
I'm not seeing it. The red-faced guy was the red character, I guess.
Yeah, he wasn't. He didn't have a whole lot of red on him. Well, no, he might have. His robe might have been red.
I thought so.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe my memory's just messing with me. Yeah. Someone knows. Someone who's listening to this podcast is like, no, they're all wrong.
Yeah. But that one,
at least that's where their names come from.
Yeah.
If anything.
The Rubicon Tay, that one is probably the best one, just because it's rage. Fire represents rage.
Yeah.
And he's the fiend of fire.
Right. Well, that's interesting. Are they the same as the four fiends in the first Final Fantasy?
The names are different, but
the names are different. We should probably do an episode on those sometime.
Yeah, the fours ones, the names were just cooler. I mean, some of them in 1, if you remember, it's like Kraken, and there's some other mythological beasts.
I don't know that much about mythology as far as the Kraken goes.
The Greek mythology.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Great.
Well, see, I fucking don't know that shit. So, I think it'd be interesting to do an episode on those 2.
Perhaps we will.
And, of course, we'll do an episode on the summons. And
yeah, well, I think the ones in 1 make more sense because it's based off of something that's actually...
So the Kraken being the water fiend.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, it makes sense to me too. These
But
ones are a little bit more thrown up in the air, but it is interesting that they came from Dante's Inferno because obviously one of the developers had to be familiar with this shit.
Right, or else they would have never named them, Cagnazzo.
Cocknuzzle.
I mean, they do. The names are a little bit different because of translations. Like it's the obviously the names are going to be obviously different, and some of them they couldn't fit in the name file, so they had to just change the name.
I'm sure that's the case.
Yeah, so
especially in your version of 4 that you played, the PlayStation one,
the tiny version. Yeah. They can't even fit the R at the end of Meteor.
Medio.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think that ends it for Did You Know? So, is that correct? Is there anything else you want to add?
No.
No, that's it? Okay.
No, if we are wrong about anything, shoot us down, because I can't make a connection between some of these guys in 4 and their Dante Inferno based on
the references
and what their names directly translate to.
Certainly, if you guys have anything to add, make sure you go to our contact page and add us there. I'm sure the outro on this thing will also tell you the same thing that I just told you. So anyway, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, enjoy.
This has been another production of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. The show was produced by Joseph DeGollier and Caleb Schweiss, with music and editing by Joseph DeGollier, parodies and clips from their respective authors, of course. You can get all of our episodes as well as our Let's Plays at ultimafinalfantasy.com. You can also contact us on Twitter at UFF Podcast, as well as our contact page on our website. Be sure to subscribe and review our podcast. Your reviews may get read on the show, and look forward to the next episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast.